Good afternoon, 7th graders. This is Mr. Kashi speaking. As you can see, I will not be able to stay for the entire 7th hour. So instead of going on with class the way it usually would go, I am going to, I'll still be giving the notes today for our first full section of this year. Today's schedule is on the board. The sub will take attendance. We will go through how you're going to be taking notes in your notebook in this class. The third thing we'll be doing is actually taking the notes. There will be 3 slides on estimation. There will be 3 different ways that we estimate today. Clickers will have to be held off till tomorrow. We will not be able to use clickers today because I am not in the room. And number 5 will be your assignment. Whatever you do not get done in class will be homework to be completed by the beginning of class tomorrow. Okay, so that's what we'll be going through here, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along. If things are going too fast, just raise your hand, and the sub can pause the video and make sure you can keep up so nobody gets left behind. I know it's a little inconvenient that I'm not in the room so early in the year, but that's just the way it goes. So our first slide, how to take notes in here. Alright, so whenever you have notes, you have to label what chapter and section we're on and the date. So hopefully everybody has their notebook out. And in math class, we want to make sure that we take notes in pencil. So hopefully you have a notebook and pencil, and that should be out for taking notes every day, not just today. So just like on an assignment, in the upper left-hand corner, you want to be writing the chapter, section, and the date. So today, it would be 1-1, okay, chapter 1, section 1, and today's date would be 9/6. You do not need to put 2012 because, well, September 6th, there's only one September 6th in this school year, so you don't have to worry about that. The reason we do this is for review once we get closer to an exam and you forget how all 3 different ways how we estimated. You can check really quick back in your notes and see, oh, that was 1-1 on estimation. Okay? So do this every time we start notes in your notebook. Okay? Now the first way that we're going to estimate is estimate by rounding. Estimate by rounding. Now I do not need you to write this whole thing in. All I need you to write is what is in black. So you need to write estimation at the top. You have to record 1 estimation by rounding, so you know what we're doing here. And then whatever I bring out onto the screen here, you will also need to record. But you do not need to put this story into your notes. Okay. This is a problem that I made up specifically for the 7th grade. Most of you know Asa. He has $9.87. And some of you, I'm sure, know Drew. He has $5.12 with them at the moment. Now we have to estimate how much money they have together. And we're going to do that by estimating by rounding. The first thing that you need to put in your notes is 1. Estimate. Okay? Now I'm going to bring this down. We have to estimate $9.87 added to $5.12. So write that down first. 1. Estimate $9.87 plus $5.12. I'll give you a short amount of time to do that. The next thing that we'll be doing, step 2. Step 2. We have to round $9.80 up to $10. And then we are rounding $5.12 down to $5. Okay? And we're doing this because $9.87 is going to be closer to $10 than it is to $9, and $5.12 is obviously closer to $5 than it is to $6. Give you a little bit more time to write that down. And we'll go on to our third step here. And then finally, which I'm sure a lot of you know is going to be last, then we just have to add our $10 and our $5. And we estimate that Asa and Drew together have about $15. So you need to write that word for word. Step 3 is then add $10 and $5 equals $15. And just to get used to it, just like we were doing our homework, we should box that answer right there. That's our solution, $15. That answers our question up above. Estimate how much money they have together. Well, that estimate is $15. All right, moving on. The second way we're going to learn how to estimate is something called front-end estimation. Front-end estimation. And then what you need to record in your notes is what I am boxing up here in green. That is what you need to put in your notes right now. We will be adding to that here in a second. So front-end estimation, that is the second way we'll be doing estimation. And the $3 amounts that we were going to be doing is $4.39, $1.49, and $2.95. I'll give you a moment to record that. Now, front-end estimation. Okay, it's exactly what it is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring this over and show you that the front end means that we're going to be just talking about these whole dollar amounts. Okay, so the front end would just be the dollar amounts of 4, 1, and 2. Okay, so if we add those together, just the whole dollar amounts, 4, 1, and 2, we would get $7. Okay, so you want to circle those. Make sure you understand that that's front end. That's our front end that we're estimating first. And adding those up, we'll get $7. Then what we need to do is we need to estimate these decimals. So 39 and 49 and 95. Okay? Well, my thought process is this 95, that's pretty close to $1. That's pretty close. Okay, so we're just going to have that be $1. Now, 49 cents, that's pretty close to 50. 39 cents is closer to 50 than 0. So these two together, we're going to say, is $1. The 49 cents is about half a dollar. 39 cents about half a dollar. Remember, we're estimating here. We do not need an exact answer. So that's about $1. So those added together are going to give us $2. Okay, $1 up top, $1 down here, and then when we add those together, $7 on the front end, $2 on the decimal end, we get a $9 total. And remember that we need to box our solutions just like that. I'll give you a little while just to catch up in case anybody is listening intently. Now we'll be moving on to our third way of estimating. Okay, third way of estimating is probably something that you haven't done before. It's called using compatible numbers. You want to make sure that you write that down in your notes. Using compatible numbers, and then record this division problem right here. $50.25, or 50.25, divided by 7.95. 7.95. Okay. Now I'm going to break this up into steps, and it's going to be almost like working backwards. Okay. So we have these two numbers, and to do this in our head would be rather difficult. Okay. We cannot do these decimals in our head, but we're estimating. We're using compatible numbers to estimate. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to do this one. First step is I'm going to round this 7.95. We're going to round that to 8. Okay, we're going to round that to 8. Our second step was we're just going to bring this division sign down. We are still dividing, nothing changes there. Okay, now the third step is a little out of the ordinary. Okay, the third step is going to deal with this 50.25. Okay, now this is compatible numbers. Compatible means something it's going to be easy for us to divide this number out. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to think of this 8 over here. We have to think of a number that is close to this 50.25 that is a multiple of 8. Okay, so we have to find a multiple of 8 that is closest to this 50.25. And if you think about it, 48 is pretty close to 50.25. Now, it's still a couple of numbers away, but remember, we are estimating. We do not need to be exact. Okay? Now, 48, that was our third step. Our fourth step is obviously getting a solution here. 48 divided by 8 would equal 6. 6 is our solution to this division problem. Okay? Now, 6 needs to be boxed because it is our solution. To check our solution, what we could do is make sure that does 6 times 8, does that equal 48? And it sure does. 6 times 8 does equal 48. That confirms that 6 is our solution to this problem. I will give you a little extra time to write that down if you need to catch up. Now, to review, the first way that we estimated was estimated by rounding. Estimate by rounding. There's 3 steps in that process. The second way was front-end estimation, how we do the whole numbers first and then the decimals after that. And then the one that we just did, using compatible numbers, rounding off that smaller number and then finding a number that is compatible with this. So we found a multiple of 8, which is 48, to give us a nice round answer of 6. All right? Our assignment today is found on pages 6 and 7, and you will need to complete problems 2 through 5. We need to do all of those, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then numbers 7 through 23 odd. Okay, you will be working alone for work time today. Anything you do not get completed in class will be considered homework, and it does need to be completed by the beginning of class tomorrow. I'll be answering any questions about the assignment then, and once again, I am sorry that I have to be absent for this early in the school year, but I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.